So we might have been a little bit premature. We thought Leicester were just walking to the title, but it's getting a bit nervy now. They got that draw. Jamie Vardy's going to be missing the game against Swansea, which we knew was going to be a huge game.
Biggest game of the season.
When we looked at that fixture list, Rob, we knew. Swansea against Leicester was going to be that one that's going to determine the title.
Still can't believe it.
It's a weird one, but it's one that, as someone who's just kind of supporting Leicester in this, as supporting the under, as you're not, but as an underdog.
No, hold on. Let me just make it clear.
I know you probably are now.
I am now
to this one.
I am now officially a Leicester City supporter.
That's going to be a great vibe. Everybody enjoy that.
Yeah, you're in trouble.
Years of use.
Listen, you can vine it as much as you want, as long as Spurs don't win that title, right? That's the vine I'm trying to avoid, trust me.
Yeah, true. But this is a huge game, and it's got even tougher. I say even tougher. It should be the easy one, but with Vardy out of the side, missing one game, could be missing two.
He should be missing two because he's going to get an extended ban, isn't he?
It looks like that would happen because he pointed and said a naughty word, didn't he? But how big a miss, firstly, is Vardy to this team?
Yeah, he's massive, and he's been the spearhead of that attack all season. He allows them to play in a certain way. You know, his pace. I mean, if you saw the goal last week, it was literally Schmeichel threw it out. Threw it out to Morris to Kante through to Vardy, goal, and just so quickly done. And they've just been executing that all season, and without him there, Ajoa doesn't have the same amount of pace as him. They have to play in a slightly different way. So yeah, it's going to be a huge miss. And the guy as well, not only that, I've been saying this all season actually, that he's a very underestimated player because his finishing's second to none.
Last week we were talking about Player of the Year. I said take Kante out and they're not the same team. And that is true, but what we're seeing now when we look at that side without Vardy is he's probably the most indispensable player in that team because it does change the way that they play, or it might have to, or it's going to be a light version of
Leicester Light.
Of Leicester Light. We're going to have a Leicester Light, yeah. Walkers will be all over that, won't they? Because this time, the last time Vardy didn't play a game was March of last year, and they were bottom of the league. And since then, with Vardy,
it's an incredible injury record.
Yeah,
not injury, but for the fact
the whole team. I think that's part of it as well. With Vardy as a general in the top flight, with him they win 48% of their games. Without him, they win 25% of their games. So that shows it as well. But is this just one of those moments in a season that if you want to win the league, you're going to have to deal with a bit of adversity?
I mean, let's be honest. If this is the biggest bit of adversity that Leicester have to deal with this year, they've done pretty well and they're on cloud nine. I think Swansea's not going to be the hardest challenge they've got. They've got United.
Which puts the pressure on the game, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, yes and no. There's any way you can spin it, whether it's a game against Man City at the top or a game against Norwich at the bottom. You're going to say, they're in a relegation battle, they're challenging for a top 4 spot. Every single game is going to have its own challenges. It's the Premier League. If it doesn't, there's something going wrong. Yeah. But they've gone through a lot harder games than this, and they've got what it takes to win, but they just don't have Vardy. And it's whether they can mentally allow that to affect them so much that they don't play how Leicester have been playing this season. Yeah.
A comment you said earlier in the season was that when it gets to the end of the season, those nerves are going to mount up and mount up. And for a long time, we felt that it wasn't going to happen because they've just been so solid and so strong. Do you feel like the tide's turning a little bit with that? I mean, it's only one game and they've only drawn a game. They haven't even lost a game here, but Spurs look strong, don't they?
They got that last-minute equaliser.
That could be the difference.
It's a massive
it's massive. Listen, I don't think it's turning at all. I think that draw that they got last week was like a victory, right? Because last minute, they were looking like dropping points, and again, they've pulled a result out of the bag. They haven't lost. They haven't lost for ages now.
Yeah.
So they know they're not used to losing. At their place, they're really strong. Swansea are on the beach. They're safe now. So they've not really got
again,
anything
that puts
to play
pressure on
for.
this game, though, right? Because the games after that, you've got, Everton will either be in an FA Cup final or kind of on the beach. But you've got United and and Chelsea last game of the season.
Yeah,
They're two big clubs.
Yeah, but I think that if I was the manager of Leicester, I'd be looking at it and say, right, if we win this weekend, we're nearly there. They're 5 points clear. Let's remember that. They've got, breathing space between them and Spurs. The Spurs are playing really, really well at the moment, coming hot. But you look at it and you think to yourself, yeah, but we got 5 points. It's not like it's 2 points or a point.
But I guess the thing that you could say,
breathing space. That's
but say they draw that game. Spurs have got West Brom at home. They win that game. It's down to 3 points, and that feeling of quicksand.
Well, they've got. Is it 4 games they've got left now?
Yes.
4 games.
So they need to drop results in 2 games that at the same time Spurs gain the same points. So that'll be a loss and a draw. We'll get the 5 point gap, and Spurs' goal difference blows Leicester's out the water, which could happen. As you said, they play United away. United haven't been the best this season. I think I'll be the first.
Not
to
the hardest game, is it?
But when we played them early this season, I personally thought we deserved to win. They had one real big chance that Vardy buried, but other than that, we were pressuring them. And then Schweinsteiger got a late equaliser. I'm not sure it was late equaliser, but he got an equaliser. But they didn't blow us away at all. And then Arsenal went there earlier this season, spanked them. So
but that's been since we beat them at our place, like we're the only team to beat them back to back. And since
but there was a tweak in the way that they played after that game, wasn't there? They became a lot more solid, which is something that some people are saying they're a little bit boring now. But 1-0 wins, that makes a champion, doesn't it?
The other thing I think about Leicester at the moment, right, is which I didn't at the time. I was thinking to myself, the pressure's going to get to them, but I never realised, right, that they had such strong leadership on the pitch. Wes Morgan, Hoof, these guys are proper leaders, right? And, I really admire that.
Do you think that Ranieri is going to be playing that game not to lose or to win? What's more important?
Well, I think that's a really good question, and maybe we should get into that now, is that what kind of team and what kind of tactics do you play? Because the players that you play determine how you play to an extent. Because if you start with Ochoa, who's the obvious choice to come in, then you can't break at that same speed. You haven't got Vardy to stretch it. If you play Damari Gray, hasn't had a Premier League start, often plays on the wing, but for Birmingham has played up front. You've got that pace, but you haven't got that experience. What do you do? What would you do?
So something that's just came through my head now. It's probably stupid, but has anybody thought of putting Mahrez in the middle? And then
that's definitely an option, I think.
Maybe putting Gray out on the wing, because it would still have the raw pace, which you need. But
you've got Schlupp as well, you've got Dyer as well. I think that's a definite option.
But
so who would you play up front with Mahrez?
I prefer Okazaki to Ochoa. Was he Ochoa?
Ochoa, Ochoa.
Probably getting his name completely wrong. But Leicester really need that pace up top, don't they? It's so vital for them being able to sit in 2 banks of 4, knowing full well that they've got that man up there. If they just kick it to, they can then come out in banks of 4 at the same time. So to slow it down massively by playing Ochoa, it might be a little bit too risky.
I see no problem with playing Ochoa. Yes, it's not Vardy, it's not going to be the same
So who would you start
dynamic. I'd start Ochoa up there. You've still got O'Brighton and Okazaki with the pace. He can hold the ball up for them. I think they're going to be all right.
I wouldn't start Ochoa because I think he's looked better in the last 30 minutes of games when it sort of opened up a little bit, and he's not the most mobile, and the way they play, he can kind of keep up with it a bit more there. In a game against Swansea, who are on the beach, like you said, lost 3-0 last week, and their best centre-back is Ashley Williams, who's someone who I think would actually quite enjoy playing against Ochoa. I'd play Damari Gray.
But I remember last week...
He's got quality.
Who was causing a lot of problems for that Swansea back was Mitrovic when he came in. So I think Ochoa he'd be fine. I'd go with that. I don't think there's no need for drastic changes at this stage. Keep it going with what's been working for you, and they'll get over the line.
Okay. Score prediction?
That's Robbie's pep talk, by the way.
They're going to play that in the...
No, because you know what it is, right? They've just really impressed me, because I honestly, like about 5-6 games ago, thought to myself, they're going to have a blip. It's going to get all nervous and that. I really thought that, and they haven't.
It's getting excited. If they lose that game, then it's up for grabs, isn't it? So let's know what your predictions are for this game and for all the Premier League games. How big a miss is Vardy? Are Spurs on their way to winning the title and catching them up? Robbie?
Little close-up shot of Robbie.
Little
There.
Robbie. Go to Robbie.
Listen, I give credit to Spurs. They're playing really, really well at the moment. They've been very, very impressive this season. They deserve to be where they are.
Yeah.
Second place.
If you enjoyed the video, give it a little like. And if you want to subscribe, then hit the Leicester City fans' face.